In the world of conspiracy theorists, The X-Files is not just a television show, but a window into the real-world government cover-ups and conspiracies. They believe that the show was based on actual events, and that the character of Fox Mulder was a real-life investigator who was on the trail of extraterrestrial life and government secrets.
We believe that The X-Files was a warning from insiders who wanted to expose the truth about the government's involvement with aliens.
There's so much evidence out there if you know where to look. We just need someone like you, Adam, to connect the dots and expose the truth.
As a documentarian, I'm always looking for new angles to explore the intersections of power and society, so I decided to take up their challenge and investigate whether there was any truth to their claims. What I found was a complex web of conspiracy theories, government documents and testimonies that suggest that The X-Files was more than just a television show. It was a coded message from insiders who wanted to expose the truth about extraterrestrial life and government cover-ups.
Then what can I say? How can I disprove lies that are stamped with an official seal?
That will be all, Mr. Mulder.
You can deny all the things I've seen, all the things I've discovered, but not for much longer. Because too many others know what's happening out there. And no one, no government agency has jurisdiction over the truth.
In Dreamland Parts 1 and 2, the character of Fox Mulder finds himself trapped in a body swap with a man named Maurice Fletcher. As Mulder tries to navigate this strange new reality, he looks at himself in the mirror and sees not his own reflection, but that of Fletcher. This mirror scene is a powerful metaphor for Mulder's ongoing struggle with identity and self-perception. Throughout the X-Files series, Mulder has often been depicted as a lone crusader, driven by his relentless pursuit of truth in the face of overwhelming government conspiracies and cover-ups. But in this episode, Mulder is forced to confront the ways in which his sense of self has been shaped by external factors, from his government handlers to his own internal demons. He sees himself not as the solitary seeker of truth, but as someone who is caught up in a web of conflicting loyalties and motivations. He struggles to reconcile his personal desires with his professional obligations and to come to terms with the ways in which his identity has been shaped by external forces. As Mulder stares at his reflection in the mirror, he sees not just the face of Maurice Fletcher, but the face of his own doubts and fears. He is forced to confront the ways in which his sense of self has been shaped by external factors, and to grapple with the reality that he may not be the lone crusader he thought he was.
What are you doing?
The mirror scene in Dreamland Parts 1 and 2 is a powerful moment that captures the complexity of Mulder's character and his ongoing struggle with identity and self-perception. It reminds us that our sense of self is never fixed, and that we are constantly being shaped by the forces around us, whether we realize it or not.
Then he gets his job in the X-Files, and suddenly it's like, hey, buddy, let's hang out.
In March 2001, the X-Files spin-off series The Lone Gunmen aired its pilot episode titled Pilot. The episode centered around a plot to fly a commercial airliner into the World Trade Center in a terrorist attack carried out by government insiders. At the time, the episode was seen as a far-fetched sci-fi fantasy, but just 6 months later, on September 11, 2001, the unthinkable became a reality. Terrorists hijacked commercial airliners and flew them into the World Trade Center, killing thousands of innocent people. The parallels between the Lone Gunmen pilot episode and the events of 9/11 were eerie and disturbing. The show's creators had unwittingly predicted one of the most devastating acts of terrorism in modern history, and in doing so, had exposed the very real threats posed by government insiders and conspiracies. The Lone Gunmen pilot episode is a powerful reminder of the power of popular culture to shape our understanding of the world around us. It presaged one of the most devastating acts of terrorism in modern history, and in doing so, helped to raise public awareness of the very real threats posed by government insiders and conspiracies. As we continue to grapple with the legacy of 9/11, we must remember the lessons of the Lone Gunmen pilot episode and remain vigilant in our pursuit of truth and justice.
They've encrypted the manual override commands.
Well, decrypt them.
I don't have enough power. My CPUs are pegged.
Langley, what's happening?
I'll try decrypting in background mode.
How long will that take?
In my counts per sec, I estimate 7 to 10 days.
Oh. Needless to say,
Our asses are fried. Where you going?
To unfry us.
all right, try cutting electrical power.
They've thought of that. They've thought of everything.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We're experiencing some technical difficulties up here. At this time, we'd like you all to return to your seats.
Then kiss your asses goodbye.
Finally, we're getting close.
I know.
Damn it! New York Center, this is Atlantic National Flight 265 Heavy. We are declaring an emergency. We have 110 souls on board, 16,000 pounds of fuel, and no dangerous goods or cargo to report. Come on, Fro Hickey.
The fronts have failed, haven't they?
There's still hope.
Hope my next turnout's as nice as my last one.
Got manual override.
The FBI will go public. With your testimony, we can break this conspiracy wide open, bring Overlord down. The whole operation.
Dad, what is it?
God, I see myself in you. The same youthful enthusiasm, idealism. I was so angry at you for so long because I didn't want you to waste your life tilting at windmills. But I see now that you've got something I never had. You're a brave man, John.
You're not going to testify. You're going to let them cover this up.
They almost killed me twice. They won't fail a third time. My silence will keep me alive. And you. I know you and your friends are fighting for the American dream. Just don't expect to win.
So we're going with this then?
We can't do it. We don't have the proof.
And then we don't have a lead story for this week's issue.
Yeah, we do.
Well, we certainly don't have proof for that.
Your pistol-packing bearded lady has it, remember?
Yeah? Well, turnabout's fair play.
How the hell did you get that?
The X-Files was more than just a television
Once
show.
read a little
It was a
taste of
cultural
Ricky.
phenomenon that captured the imaginations of millions of people around the world. Its themes of government conspiracies, extraterrestrial life, and the search for truth resonated with audiences then and now. Through the character of Fox Mulder and the Lone Gunmen, the show explored some of the most pressing cultural anxieties of the 1990s and 2000s. It presaged one of the most devastating acts of terrorism in modern history, raised awareness of government surveillance and secrecy, and inspired a generation to seek out the truth for themselves. In part 2 of this series, we will continue to explore the cultural impact of the X-Files, from its influence on popular culture to its role in shaping public perception of government power and manipulation. So stay tuned for part 2 as we continue to investigate the X-Files and the ongoing quest for truth in our society.